call the regular council meeting to order. Please rise to the pledge. Allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll, please.
Trustee Pacoli?
Here.
Trustee Myson?
Here.
Trustee Bellinger?
Here.
Trustee Wachowski? Here. Trustee Primore?
Here.
Trustee Heshik?
Here.
Treasurer Rozek?
Here.
Attorney Edis?
Here.
President Dilbert?
Here. Approval of agenda. I have a couple of corrections. Item A under President should have been set the millage public hearing. Somehow we submitted sewer rates. And we need to add item J, which is a resolution pertaining to 58660 Victoria Street.
And under new business, can I add a C? Just a couple of questions about the gas station.
Any others?
A motion that we approve the agenda as amended.
Support.
Properly moved and supported that we approve the agenda as amended. Questions on the motion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Public comment on the agenda. Seeing none? We've already conducted the public hearing. Approval of minutes for the February 11th council meeting.
Make a motion to approve the minutes as presented from February 11th, 2020.
Support.
Properly moved and supported that we approve the February 11th council minutes. Any questions on the motion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Consent agenda.
Make a motion. Make a motion that we accept the consent agenda as presented.
Support.
Properly moved and supported that we accept the consent agenda as presented. Questions on the motion?
I have one. It appears that the amount that we're paying for the bills and the council approved minutes on the consent agenda are the exact same figure, so it looks like we're paying the same things twice. The $773, $874.91.
Oh, yeah. Is that the discussion that you and the treasurer were having?
Yeah.
And what did you conclude?
Those, for the council's approval, that 773 was a combination of the bills that came in February after the council meeting, and yeah, you know what, we might have a number wrong here.
Sandy,
Excuse me?
are you aware of the duplicate numbers?
I am not.
I'm looking at the spreadsheet that came out, and those are the numbers that are on the spreadsheet.
So I guess my next question is going to be, if we accept the consent agenda, should we not approve the payment of bills? Or should we scratch that 773 from the consent agenda?
I'll hold my second back. Did you make the motion?
Yeah.
So do you want to amend your motion to eliminate the council approval?
Yeah, I amend my motion to remove the council approval for the 773, 874, 91 cents from the consent agenda.
I'll support that.
And I think,
That number is good. That's $773,874.91.
for payment of bills.
Yes.
Yes, so we will use that number over there, because when you do the math, the grand total, if you took out that 773, that's good as math, right? The grand total doesn't have right.
Yeah, because without it, it looks like we're about to approve like $1.6 million in spending this month.
Yeah. Yeah. May I suggest that we table
Table the consent agenda.
the consent?
Do you want a motion for that? A motion that we table the consent agenda.
Support.
It's been properly moved and supported that we table the consent agenda for this month until we can get it cleared up, and we'll address it next month. Any questions on the motion?
So next month, we will have 2 consent agenda votes.
Possibly, yes.
Possibly, okay.
Yes. Any other questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. President's items. Item A, we need to set a public hearing date, and I'm being told that it should be set for June, because hopefully by then, we will have all of our stuff back from the township. So we will set the millage public hearing in the month of June month of June. So if we want to do our normal 6:30 prior to the council meeting,
June 9th, 6:30.
yes.
Motion that we set a public hearing for the millage at 6:30 PM, June 9th meeting.
Support.
Been moved and supported that we set a public hearing to establish our millage at 6:30 on June 9th. Any questions on the motion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Item B, we need to adopt the 2021 budget.
Make a motion that we adopt the 2020 to 2021 budget as was presented to us.
Support.
Been moved and supported that we adopt the 2021 budget that has been presented. Any questions on the motion? I'm going to repeat what Mrs. Bonkowski said earlier about the pie chart. I think that pie chart is a very simple but clear. It gives a clearer picture. You know, some things are going to have to be bundled because of the number of accounts that we have, but it does give a much clearer picture as to what you can see, 5% here, 10% there, whatever it may be. And I think that was a terrific suggestion that we will certainly do what we have to do to make that happen.
Yeah, President Dilbert, when we did the Village to City Committee, we looked at a lot of the budgets that were on there, and some of them have a preamble to their budget where they included screenshots of certain parts of like the payroll expenditures for the village and stuff like that, where it broke things down where you can easily see it and get that information readily available.
Yeah.
And then will we be adding the budget to the Village of New Haven website?
I'm sorry.
We would then be adding the budget to the new Village of New Haven website as well?
Yes. Yes. Any other questions on the budget? Roll, please.
Trustee Meisen?
Yes.
Trustee Pankowski?
Yes.
Trustee McCollum?
Yes.
Trustee Ballinger?
Yes.
Trustee Pridemore?
Yeah.
Trustee Hatchett?
Yes.
President Dilbert?
Yes. Item C, ordinance 371, the Bramblewood pilot. If you recall, last month, we approved the ordinance for the benefit of Bramblewood and Perry Acres so that they could file for their low interest rate loan to do some improvements. Sean, do you have anything you want to add to that?
No, President Gilbert, I think everything's there. Again, this is just something that we have to do in order, as you already said, to allow the approval for the pilot program.
Was this, was the ordinance that we used, was this the one that the gentleman provided as the template, or was this one that we had, or?
It is, it's a template provided by MISHDA actually, as what they prefer to be used. I mean, I had to tweak it obviously. In there, we have to have the applicable LLCs for each one, and then one uses contract rents, and the other one uses a slightly different standard for the net 10% that they'll be paying to the village and the rest of the taxing authorities in lieu of paying taxes. And that's just some small changes that I had to make in there for that stuff. And that's just because one facility receives Section 8 funds and the other doesn't. That's it. It's just technical stuff.
So we have two ordinances that we should act on, and we'll start with 371, the Bramblewood.
Motion that we adopt ordinance number 371, an ordinance to provide for a service charge in lieu of taxes for a housing project for low-income persons and families to be financed with a federally aided mortgage loan pursuant to the provisions of the State Housing Development Authority Act of 1966.
Support.
Been properly moved and supported that we adopt ordinance 371. Any questions on the motion? Roll, please.
Trustee Meissen?
Yes.
Trustee Bukowski?
Yes.
Trustee Hatchett?
Yes.
Trustee Pymore?
Yes.
Trustee Bellinger?
Yes.
Trustee Fafoli?
Yes.
President Dilbert?
Yes. Item D, ordinance 372.
Make a motion that we adopt ordinance number 372, the same thing, but for Perry Acres.
Do you want me to put the same thing in?
Support.
That's lazy.
Well, because I did realize after I read the entire mouthful there that it actually doesn't say Bramblewood in the previous. So this one, same thing, but for Perry Acres.
Been properly moved and supported that we adopt ordinance 372 as it pertains to Perry Acres. Any questions on the motion? Roll, please.
Trustee Meissen?
Yes.
Trustee Bukowski?
Yes.
Trustee Fafoli?
Yes.
Trustee Bellinger?
Yes.
Trustee Hatchett?
Yes.
Trustee Pymore?
Yes.
President Dilbert?
Yes. Item E, we finally got the go-ahead from MDOT. So with that being said, on our road construction, so with that being said, Samet wants to be seen.
Good evening. You should have in your packet my February 28th letter. This is related to the last year's project for the street rehab program. We're receiving a grant from MDOT. We basically received two bids from James P. and Paymar Enterprises. Low bidder is James P. Contracting for $516,168.55. We're here seeking council approval to move forward, awarding this contract to the low bidder, contingent upon, of course, receiving acceptable bonds and insurance. This bid has been reviewed by MDOT grant administrator, and they gave us the okay to move forward.
Have you had contact with this engineering firm before, contracting firm? James P.?
Yes.
Yes.
Very qualified contractor.
I just have a question about how far are they gonna go down Bradford?
To the end, from end to end.
And then, okay, good, thank you.
Right? Yeah,
Yes, the entire stretch.
yeah, the entire stretch. After that, unless you guys want to start paying for my dental work.
I know, that's why I wanted to make sure we were going up.
The only concern I have is, having been in the model homes that are there, there's still some work that needs to be done.
this gets done, are they?
We're still probably a couple months out,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, if there's
Depending on the
a,
weather with that.
yeah, if there's a schedule conflict, we'll delay Bradford till the end.
So this was for Bradford and Midfield.
Midfield.
And Marla, Midfield, and North Bradford.
I move that we approve the contract for James P. Contracting for the MDOT Cat D project
Support.
Should we?
Properly moved and supported?
in the amount of $516,168.55.
Yes, support that too.
Been properly moved and supported that we award the contract to James P. for the MDOT project. And we're calling it MDOT because we are receiving $250,000 from MDOT. Any questions on the motion?
To be exact, Mr. President, $231,061,
Yeah.
not the exact 250.
Yeah. 250. Because our bids came in lower what we expected, so we have to reduce. Question on the motion? Roll, please.
Trustee Pavoli?
Yes.
Trustee Feinberg?
Yes.
Trustee Hatchett?
Yes.
Trustee Lyson?
Yes.
Trustee Ballinger? Yes. Trustee Pankowski?
Yes.
President Dilbert?
Yes.
Thank you.
Item F, request for approval to hire a full-time accounts payable clerk. Sandy, you want to come up? I'm going to give my, probably a year ago, one of our full-time employees resigned, quit. And in the interim, we've been filling this spot with a part-time person who was only wanting to work 3 days a week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And a couple weeks ago, she gave her notice that she didn't want to work at all. This had always been a full-time slot. We've been managing, but as we've gotten busier and busier, and we're continuing to ask more and more of Sandy, we need to put another full-timer back in that position. That full-time person also supports our senior programs, our park and rec programs. She does all the bus scheduling and all that kind of stuff. She supports the planning commission in their minutes and meeting, not minutes, but scheduling and whatnot. So there's a lot of things that this person does besides accounts payable. There's a lot of odds and ends that take place around here that need to be picked up by somebody. And more recently, we've had one of our employees' spouse have a medical situation, and so our shorthand really becomes shorthand. And this has always been slotted as a full-time position. With that being said,
What do you want me to say?
you don't normally ask for what I want to say. You normally just say what you want to say.
Well, the person that we interviewed, she's a well-rounded person. I sent you guys her resume. She has, right now she's doing utility billing. Only reason why she's doing that is the fact that she's been in this position for 11 years and she's probably been the only person that's been there 10 years. They have very big turnaround over there and she's ready for a change, and she has done everything and anything at the city of Emily City. I believe that she would be a good fit with us, and I believe that she can come in and without, I don't want to say not that much direction, but she knows what she has to do to get the job done. So I'm very pleased with her qualifications, and I hope that she would be a good fit for us. Does anybody else have any questions about her? I don't know. She has qualifications with, and she would be here today, but she's actually working an election at the Emily City. So.
I have one question. The rate that for the payroll schedule you gave us, Was the previous employees paid at that same rate too, so this wouldn't have any impact on how it was
No,
before?
she was paid the $17. She was part-time, $17, and the person before was $15.45.
The last full-time person was
Correct.
50.
And then we changed the schedule on that to reflect anybody that had any college, had a BA college.
Is she going to be a member of the ASME union?
Should we remember the Teamster union?
Well, I mean, the clerical.
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. it will
Their
be-
contract offers a salary bump up for education?
Yes. Yes. Yes, ma'am.
Because she has a bachelor's.
She does.
Yep.
And that's my open. I take that back as Walsh.
Huh?
She has a BA from Walsh College.
But the request is to hire a full-time accounts payable clerk, not necessarily the specific candidate, am I correct?
No, we're asking for this specific candidate.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Because she's been interviewed, and I think she would be a terrific addition. Just all the way around, just her personality, her demeanor. I think she would be one heck of an addition to this office. I actually think it would make, and this is no slam at the other girls, but I think she would make them better.
And I'm not objecting to the person, I'm just questioning the process. Because you're asking to hire a full-time accounts payable clerk is what you're asking for today, correct?
Yes.
And then Sandy chooses who she's gonna hire.
I sat in on the interview with Sandy, yes, which I've done in the past. And, I mean, she's the one that she has to work with, and, she can actually take some of the load off of Sandy as we continue to add things to her that she needs some relief. She needs some help, and this lady is quite capable and qualified to take some of the additional work that we continue to throw at Sandy.
How long ago did we receive her application?
2 months ago. So it's under the 6 months.
I'm not objecting to the position, but we're not interviewing this candidate, so.
No, you normally wouldn't.
Right, that's what I'm saying. So again, the motion is to fill this full-time accounts payable position, correct?
Yes,
Okay,
yes, that's the motion.
so I will
Or
make a
that's a
motion.
request.
Okay,
Yeah.
yes, that's your request. So I will make a motion to hire a full-time accounts payable clerk.
Support.
Been properly moved and supported that we hire a full-time accounts payable clerk. At the stated rate.
$18 per hour.
Yeah.
Support.
Been properly moved and supported. Any questions on the motion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Item G. We're going to talk about this for a couple minutes. We were told by the Planning Commissioner's office that we have some water infiltration into our sanitary system. They've yet to supply us with the numbers. They meter our sanitary, our outgoing sanitary. And it's been at least 2 months, they've yet to supply us with the documentation that says, yeah, during the rainy season, our outgoing flow peaks by 25%. So I don't want to go out for an RFP until I have those numbers, because right now, I'm not totally believing them. Okay? If they say they had the numbers, I feel we should have received them within 48 hours. And it's been over 2 months. Okay, because if we go for an RFP, I mean, this could be a couple $100,000 project. You know, and I don't want to waste the time or money putting together the specs, putting it up, and come to find out that during the rainy season, we peak 5%. Well, there's a certain percentage that's normal. Correct, Sumit?
Correct.
You know, so, you know, until we get the actual numbers from the county, telling us, you know, what our outgoing sanitary is, you know, from month to month, you know, then I don't think we should act on it. But I will continue to try to get those numbers. Item H, Parks and Rec Committee. We've been trying to fill some vacancies on that committee, and to date I've only received one, and her name is Kristen Storr, and I would like to make that appointment to the Parks and Rec Committee. If anyone knows anybody that wants to serve, and one thing, and I apologize because this was suggested by Mrs. Gronkowski also. Yeah, you are full of suggestions.
I am. All of the suggestions.
And I keep forgetting to tell Sandy this.
Oh, yeah.
No, I did mention to Sandy, but we need to put it in the budget that we're gonna start off on a small stipend to the Park and Rec members. They're the only committee that don't receive some sort of stipend, and it may be $25 a meeting. Not to say that that should make or break whether you want to serve or not, but it does cover their gas for when they're running around putting things together. Okay, so we will make that adjustment, and we'll come back next month with a recommendation for a small stipend for the Park and Rec members.
I have another question. I think we talked about this, so my memory may not be. Do they have to be 18 to serve?
Yes.
Okay. So
Yes, they gotta be at least 18. Yeah. Gotta be able to vote.
That's true.
Yep. So I'm gonna appoint Kristen Storr to the Parks and Rec Committee, effective their next meeting in 2 weeks.
Next week.
Next week, yeah. Item I, New Haven Town Center Building Maintenance Update. Recently, the landlord came out, sent out a contractor, they replaced, repaired all the missing soffits and panels around the building. And last week, when I was out of town, we had a contractor in the police garage area repairing the masonry damage where the wall had separated. So, with that being said, those two things have been taken care of. We still got some other issues that we're constantly identifying, but those two complaints have been addressed. Item J. A resolution to approve circuit court action seeking to abate public nuisance located at 58660 Victoria. And I guess my first question, was a resolution necessary?
Is a resolution necessary?
Yes.
Let's put it this way, it's kind of like chicken soup, it can't hurt, everybody's on board.
Did we have a resolution when it went to district?
I think we had a resolution when we went to district too. But if not, we're gonna go to circuit court. I think that a resolution is very desirable. I won't say I would say it's necessary, but I think it's desirable. so that when we stand in front of a circuit judge, we can say that the board believes, on behalf of the taxpayers, that this nuisance needs to be abated. So much so that they're willing to come to the court of the highest jurisdiction in the county to get it done.
Okay.
So going forward, any litigation is going to have a resolution.
I would prefer that. I believe it's a wise way to go. What you don't want to have happen is if you get into litigation, it goes a little bit sideways, as you well know, litigation can do, that people can say, well, I never approved of it, or I never approved of it, or I never agreed with it, or board members playing off against each other. I didn't want any action taken against that piece of property or that landowner. So either people are on board, at least a majority, or why would we go forward?
Okay. Good enough. That's clear. So with that being said, there's a resolution in front of you, 20-002, to approve circuit court action seeking to abate public nuisance located at 58660 Victoria.
Make a motion that we adopt resolution 20-002, resolution to approve circuit court action seeking to abate public nuisance located at 58660 Victoria, New Haven, Michigan, 48048.
Support.
Been properly moved and supported that we adopt resolution 20-002. Any questions on the motion?
Do we know when it's going to be filed?
I would say forthwith, within a week or two, to get the proper material in, put together a complaint and get it filed. Is that reasonable, Sean?
Sounds good to me.
Okay.
Any other questions on the motion?
This was the property that code enforcement officer had informed us was causing issues with Lombardo being able to build.
Yes. Yes. Any other questions? Roll, please.
Trustee Nyson?
Yes.
Trustee Jankowski?
Yes.
Trustee Burkholly?
Yes.
Trustee Malinger?
Yes.
Trustee Pride
Yes.
Trustee Hatchett?
Yes.
President Dilbert?
Yes. Approval of payment of bills.
Mr. Dilbert, that number is incorrect, and I need to get with the accountant to discuss the spreadsheet that was sent to me in which I developed these numbers off of. But on the front page, the consent agenda, those numbers are 100% correct. It's just this number that is a little off.
That 773 number?
Yes.
Okay, so
some of the bills were counted twice that were paid in February.
okay. So we need to table the payment of bills then. Mr. Rossi,
Yes, sir.
then we should table payment of bills.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And just so council knows, that bills are being paid because we won't incur any late fees. But this is just the normal, and probably most of these have already been paid.
We had some bigger bills come in after the last council meeting, and they were paid immediately.
Yes, our
And-
sewer debt came in, and it had a short window to pay.
So I think that some of the bigger numbers were counted twice. So, one, to let council know that the bills were paid, but they may have just been documented incorrectly.
When you get that figure, could you just shoot us an email? Let us know?
I can.
Thank you.
Well, one of the bond payments was $42,000, and the water bond was $175,000, so it's gonna, we have to figure out what the difference is here.
Okay, just shoot us a notice when you get it.
We'll get it cleared up. Thank you. Treasury report.
Total village cash asset of $4,244,645.34.
Make a motion that we receive and file the treasurer's report.
Support.
Been moved and supported that we receive and file the treasurer's report. Questions on the motion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Agenda items for our April meeting are requested by April 3rd. Unfinished business. We had talked about hosting a town hall for our sewer rates. Do we want to set a date for that?
It probably wouldn't hurt. There hasn't been too much backlash that I've seen on social media, and if I remember correctly, it looks like we were able to put a note on the water bill.
Yeah, we were able
There
to.
was backlash about the note on the wall.
The wording was, because,
My phone lit up, they thought they were gonna be dinged an extra $6.
yeah, because it was missing the word two.
I don't know who worded the water bill, but the residents thought in addition to the 4, whatever they're paying per unit, it was gonna go up another 6.
Oh,
And that's the way
Yeah,
it
well, we
reads.
saw how big that was, and we were trying to get as much in there as possible.
Yeah.
So they were misinterpreting they thought the 426 plus the 610 they were
That's
thinking?
the way it reads.
Well,
Really?
because
Yeah.
they were claiming if it would have just had the word two, then they would have realized that it was just going from 426 to
Okay.
6.
All right.
So additional
But-
dollar, whatever it was, would have been more appropriate. Sewer rates increased using hyphen, using abbreviations, additional effective.
Okay, all
So
right.
okay.
We had a little space to work on that, so
Yeah.
you didn't interpret it right.
maybe we could do it for the next water bill so people are aware.
Yeah, I'll change it.
Are we gonna do a separate mailing though, maybe just to notify everybody?
I
something
just put
separate?
another notice up on the website this week,
Okay.
and we're trying to figure out how to get a mailer out. Problem is to do a bulk right here, it goes to the trailer parks too. You can't take them out,
yeah,
so we're trying to figure out how to
exactly.
do that. So we're gonna,
Yeah, that was confusing.
yeah, so we're working.
Well,
on
you
it.
could just add a line in there that
Up to.
the two communities are not included in this. They got the,
Well, not that little tiny.
no,
No.
No,
we
she's
did
saying
a
if
no
we do a
mailing.
mailing.
Oh, yeah.
The discussion was last month that we were gonna do a mailing.
Like a postcard or something.
We're working on it, we're trying to figure out how we can do it.
Cool.
Okay, back to the town hall. Do you see any benefit?
Don't you have to do that?
Well, we had the public hearing,
Yeah. It was
and really
only,
it's not gonna change the result.
we thought there was gonna be an upheaval and
And there was 5 people here, 4 people here.
But if it's not mandated, why?
No, it's not mandated.
Yeah.
I think we'll just try to get out a postcard that really
Yeah.
clarifies stuff. And
Yeah, if we can just over communicate as much as possible. And just go from there.
okay.
Well, I think that little caveat on the next bill saying, no, really, we meant, I think that'll go a long way towards.
So the message I just said, it'll be going up $6 instead of up to $6.
right.
Yeah.
The way that they read it, yeah.
2 little letters.
I didn't even see it. It was faded.
I'll say.
Notices on my phone blew up. Great.
New business, planning commission update.
The planning commission met on February 4th. We're continuing our discussion on the master plan. We have to hold a public hearing for community input, and it's gonna be an open house type. It's gonna be on April 7th, and it's gonna be from 2 to 6. So, a planner from Macomb County that services us will be here, and I'm sure we'll have some pamphlets or things of that nature for people if they have any questions or want to provide some input. And we are also sending out a survey. It'll be on the village site and try to get out there for everyone to participate in it. You've seen it yesterday. It's nice. It's real simple. So that's where the planning commission is.
Parks and Rec.
Parks and Rec met. We're continuing to discuss ways to better get communication out there to the residents. And then we do have a pretty good list of ideas that we all put together. We did solicit help from the residents trying to get ideas for, different events, classes, kind of whatever one would like. And we're talking about like a survey too. something we can get out there just to, get some ideas, because we need help too, when it comes to the meetings, and we're kind of left to our own devices, so. But as far as things that are going on, we have Jimmy John's Kids Field Day, that's gonna take place on June 24th. It's $12 per ticket, and you can bring your own lunch or buy lunch at the field. There is gonna be bus transportation provided. I don't think the sign up is out yet. So that'll be up soon. I'm not too sure when that's gonna be. We might have a better update next month on that. Easter egg hunt Saturday, April 4th, 11 a.m., Haven Ridge Community Park. I think we're all set with that. And then April 4th, yeah, Saturday at 11 a.m. And then we're also looking into, I don't have a date for it yet, we're looking into doing some cooking classes. So some people expressed some interest in that, so we're working on that right now. That's about it.
Don't invite me to those.
Well,
I don't want to learn at this late. Staying on my life.
you can come eat. You want to come eat?
I'm too old to learn how to cook now.
No pickles, we can say.
Yeah, you can come eat. No pickles, we can come.
No pickles. Can I ask a question that's kind of park related? May I ask a question that's?
Yes.
Okay, so is there, what's the process to getting our parks ready for the spring? Is there like a date, or just, I know, we talk a lot about blight, and so I think as a community, we should put our best foot forward and get our parks ramped up for the spring and the summer. Like, is there a schedule, or?
No, I think they wait until the weather, until the thing, the ground dries up and they get out there with their equipment, and I think it's on a similar schedule to when they clean up the cemetery.
Okay.
And I don't know what time frame it's actually, I just know the cemetery is cleaned up by Memorial Day.
Okay.
You
So,
know?
and then are they gonna, I know now the one park down the road here was kind of maybe equipped to Haven Place, so do we do their spring cleanup too?
No, we
Or
don't.
they-
No, we don't. But we
Okay.
need to have a conversation with Haven Place,
Okay,
because I've heard of a handful of complaints about the condition of that park.
And myself
Especially being on Main Street,
okay.
yeah.
That's why I thought maybe if there was a plan and it was that included, let's find out what it is, but,
No,
okay, that,
No, they actually take care of that part.
okay. All right, thank you.
Mr. Hayes,
I'm good.
you good? Item C, the gas station.
Yeah, I had a call from a couple of residents. They saw the crane with the gas station next to the restaurant that I think is going to open. I guess the gas station's going to be knocked down. And I have residents in the area that contacted me. They had flags put on their front lawns. They weren't sure why. And when I told them I think the gas station's coming down, they were concerned about hazardous material mitigation. And they were very upset that they weren't notified. They just woke up and there were flags all over the place. Does the village notify residents, especially given that close quarters?
I don't know what the flags were for. The flags could have been for some of the,
I know Miss Dig was out there.
I mean, has Ms. Dig been out, they haven't been doing that, doing any flagging for their road project, have they?
They do if you request them.
Okay, the village didn't ask for this thing to go out and state
No.
anything out, did we?
No.
No.
Okay, so it was the company probably that's going to demo the gas station.
Well, first of all, they have not pulled the necessary permits to do the demo. Okay, we noticed that the equipment was there, and I raised the question, what's going on? And DPW contacted the contractor and was told that they've been contracted to take down the gas station, get rid of the storage tanks, the whole bit. But they're going through the permit process. I know the gas has been disconnected, the Edison has been disconnected. We've yet to disconnect the water and sewer. So they have not completed all the necessary permits to take down the gas station. As far as flagging, the flagging could have been done for some other reason. Because I know there's a company in town right now doing some fiber optic work. So it could have been for that reason, because I saw some flags up at the, across from the park on Haven Ridge, and I had no idea what those flags were for.
So that means somebody's going to be doing something we don't know what they're doing.
That's a,
Well, not, anybody
In
can
a
call,
nutshell.
but anybody can call Miss Dig, like we
Yeah.
had a tent put up for a graduation.
You
party.
called them, these residents didn't.
Yeah.
Well, no.
Right, but anybody can call for, like, they flagged our neighbor's property because they're gonna sandbag, so.
Right, but
Yeah.
these people have no idea what's going on.
And we don't either.
And they didn't pull permits, and when they started moving the restaurant equipment into the building, they hadn't pulled permits. And I guess one of the residents was really concerned because it's an older gas station, it's been there forever, I guess.
It has.
And she said there's asbestos in the building, there's air conditioners on the roof, she doesn't know if they got Freon in it. So I guess she wants to be reassured that the company that was contracted to do the work is going to do hazardous material removal. You said the tanks are gonna be removed, and that's a big one.
Mhm.
It's a big one, so, but they haven't pulled permits, so we have no idea what's going on.
Right. Because I told the DPW, don't disconnect the water and sewer until they pull the permits. Because I don't want to go in there and dig up their parking lot, disconnect the water and sewer, and then say, oh, no, we're not taking it down, we're going to convert it into a barbecue joint. Okay? Because they were all set to disconnect the water and sewer Monday.
So we're not sure the building's coming down.
We're not sure until they file the necessary permit. This is just what we've been told.
Yeah, one of the residents went out there and talked to some random guy that was out on the street. He said they're taking the building down.
And that's what we did. We talked to some random guy, but until they put the paperwork in place,
Yeah. Okay.
Have they said what their intention is for the property? Once they take it down?
there can be no intention. Because once that building comes down, that property is not buildable.
Probably a parking lot for the restaurant.
It does not meet the setbacks.
Yeah.
There's nothing you can put there.
So the only thing that would be possible would be like a parking lot.
Extending the parking lot to the restaurant.
And do we know that they really did put equipment in that restaurant? Because I thought the roof was full of
How
that.
was that?
Yeah, didn't you go through that building?
They were dragging in, one of the residents that has a bird's eye view called me at 10 o'clock at night, said, what the heck? They were bringing in big freezers. And I said, well, hopefully it's gonna be a restaurant with a freezer. You know, we hope. But I got ahold of Lori, and Lori said they'd never contacted the village.
They have yet to contact us. And our building, well,
She said she was gonna send Dave out there.
Dave's out of town right now, so,
Well, this was a couple of weeks ago.
yeah, and he's still out of town. Okay,
How about another?
when we have something concrete in writing, then we'll share it with you, but, you know, like, so right now, it's just talk.
The news of the new restaurant going in is nice though.
Yeah.
Hopefully it comes to
Yeah, 'cause
fruition.
I heard that he hopes to be open by April 1,
As long as they fix the building.
you know.
Well, we know how it goes with
Until he
businesses.
gets inspections and whatnot, and, you know.
Well, that they didn't reach out to the village to get the permits concerns me.
Yeah, I agree.
We've had another business try to get it back,
Yeah.
so.
Does the same person own it that's owned it for the last,
It was a lease.
Had the same owner, but he's not the one that's trying to open it.
oh, he's leased it.
Yeah.
I think the guy that owns that owned Coyotes, I think.
No,
No.
no,
No?
no,
Okay.
no. The guy that runs the liquor store in the corner owns Coyote.
Well, he does now. But when they were trying to lease Coyotes, somebody told me that the guy that owned the restaurant down here also owned that building, and it never got leased, they sold it. But that was years ago. It's been empty forever. So,
Alrighty. Call from the floor.
One thing we didn't bring up was census.
Oh, yes,
Let's talk about the
census.
census.
Yes.
Last week I went to a town hall over at Wacomaya Estate. They gave us some information. They told the people there that on March 21st, they'll be sending out all the census. There's going to be a mass mailing between the 21st and the 20th. Anybody that doesn't fill out the census, they will be knocking on your doors. Anybody that is a snowbird, if whatever the residence, 50% or more, that's where they have to put where they're living. Anybody that's living with you on April 1st, you have to count them. Also to any babies born after April 1st, they're not counted. What else was said? Just some of those things like that, but they will be sending, but I want to let you at least know that they will be sending out the census on March 21st through the 20th.
And we're putting up posters, similar to the one that's on the door right there. We got a bunch of stuff coming from the county pertaining to the census that we're going to put out around the community. Wherever we could hang a poster to make sure that we're all coming.
We also too are gonna have training sessions in here, just to let you guys know if you guys wanna, do something. March 26th through the, 16th,
Tuesday to Friday. we're
Tuesday to
closing.
Friday, they will be here from 9 to 5 here in the council room for training. There will be like 26 people there training. And we also have 2 other sessions. It was the May 6th and the 11th and May 8th and the 13th. So they will be in this building. So if you guys have anything planned, those dates we can't use. So we're letting them, accommodate them, let them be able to train their people over here, their census workers and stuff like that. So just once we get more information, we'll start posting and stuff like that and get it out to the public. So if anybody asks, we can tell them that. It's very important that everybody gets counted around here for sure. So we're excited about that. Hopefully it'll help everybody, our population. Act 51 money, our CBTRs money is all based on population. So if we can get the word out, make sure everybody's counted, it'd be great for the community.
Call from the floor. Call from the table.
I've got one. If we were still, I guess talking with MDOT, if we were still interested in doing something on 27 in Gratiot, and I asked about that project, if they wanted to move forward, if we were going to do something, and what kind of timetables they would need for that. I just got the response about 3 hours ago. It said Drew recommends we have a meeting with the village, MDOT, and the MCDR, since all 3 entities are involved in it, to find out what's going on before they actually come up with a timetable for something like that.
Okay.
And then to help fund it a little bit, because we got that estimate over 100,000, I'm going to reach out to SunCog, because they do things with transportation and safety and stuff like that. So I'm going to see if they have something that they could do for us on that end to help alleviate some of the funding.
There's there's something coming up, SEMCOG.
The membership meeting.
Yeah, the membership meeting. Call from the table. We have a closed session scheduled.
Make a motion that we go into closed session at 7:54 PM for pending litigation update.
Support.
Been moved and supported that we go into closed session for an update on pending litigation. Any questions on the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Oh, has to be a roll call.
Gotta be a roll call.
That'll be a roll call.
Trustee Meissen?
Yes.
Trustee Bunkowski?
Yes.
Trustee McCollum?
Yes.
Trustee Bellinger? Yes. Trustee Hatchett?
Yes.
Trustee Pridemore?
Yep.
President Miller?
Yes.